And it should be popping up now. Yep. Okay, excellent. Let's begin comfortably lying down, getting settled on your mat. Feeling your body making contact with the different parts of the mat. Becoming aware of the support of the ground underneath you. And allowing your weight to sink down. Feel the muscles relaxing. Feeling your bones getting heavier. Letting your body melt into the mat. Scanning your body from head to toe. Becoming aware of the sensation of the fabric of your clothing. Noticing the temperature of the air around you. And taking in information from your biggest organ, the skin. Let's begin to listen to the sounds of your breath. Breathing in through the nose. And feel free to exhale through the mouth, letting out a sigh if you like. And breathing in space. And breathing out any tension that you might be feeling in the body. And let your breath come back to feeling natural, effortless. Letting your thoughts settle down. Letting go of the day so far. Letting go of the day ahead. And see if you can bring awareness to how it feels to be inside your body. Letting your mind's eye travel down from the head towards the rib cage. Transitioning from your thinking self to your feeling self. Feeling your body moving each breath, the expansion of the rib cage, the stretching of the intercostal muscles. And then the softening and relaxing of the lungs and chest as you breathe out. Letting your mind's eye travel, flowing with the air through the entire body. Releasing any subtle tension that you might be holding on to. Letting your breath be an anchor for your thoughts. Anytime your thoughts wander off, gently guide them back to the breath. Before we begin to move the body, let's take a moment to reflect on why we're here. What brought you to your mat? What are you hoping to receive from the practice today? The answer could be something simple, like moving your body, focusing on the breath, getting a good stretch. Whatever it is that brought you to your mat, perhaps you can turn that reason into an intention for the practice. Setting and repeating that intention to yourself. And let it be your guide through the practice today. And start to wiggle the toes, rotate the ankles, moving your fingers, sliding your feet together, pointing the toes, reach the arms overhead. Let's take a nice big morning stretch here. Inhale to reach, exhale out with a sigh. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, stretch and reach. And exhale. Breathing in, reach, feel your lower back arching, lifting off the mat. Let's lift the arms up and bring them to rest beside you with your palms on the mat, lifting your legs one at a time, bending the knees, plant the feet down on the mat, hip width distance, knees tracking over the ankles, touching your heels with your fingertips, setting up into a bridge position, then pressing down through your feet, pushing into the back of your shoulders and head as you feel your seat lifting off the mat, letting your tailbone elongate up and forward as you put even pressure between the feet, relaxing into the glutes to lift the hips even higher, opening into the chest, let it lift towards your chin, maybe roll the shoulders underneath. Feel that length starting from the back of the head, running down the neck, through the spine, all the way to the tip of your tailbone. And let's start to relax and ease your spine down onto the mat. And as your seat touches the mat, lifting up your right foot from here, rotate the hip externally, placing your shin on the left thigh. Flexing your right ankle and toes from here, reaching your hands in between the legs to grab hold of the back of your left thigh. Begin to pull the legs towards your body, using your right elbow to press the forearm away, flexing both ankle and toes as you pull the legs towards you, keeping your tailbone pressing down on the mat. If you'd like to go a little bit further, you can reach up over to the shin and pull your thigh towards you while continuing to use the right elbow to press the right hip away. Feeling the stretch through the outer thigh muscles into your glutes, maybe even the adductors, depending on where you carry tightness in the hips. Just breathe into the stretch wherever you might be feeling it. And we'll keep the legs as they are. Let's open the arms beside you into a wide T and just let your legs drop over to the left side. You can continue looking up, or you can look towards your outstretched right hand. You can take that left hand, place it on the right thigh, pull the leg closer to the ground, and breathing into the diagonal channel across your body through the lats into the obliques, where the low back connects with your glutes and the legs. On the next breath in, lift your knees back to center, uncross the legs, and plant the feet down on the mat, hip width distance. Reach the arms beside you, touch the heels with the fingers, setting up into bridge one more time. Press down through your hands and feet. Lift the seat up, maybe rolling the shoulders underneath right away. So let the chest lift higher to your chin. And really press down through the back of the head and shoulders. See if you can press into the feet, lift the hips even higher. Keeping lots of space in your lower back. And slowly easing your spine down onto the mat. And as your spine and seat touch the mat, lifting your left foot here. Bringing the shin onto the left thigh, rotate the hip externally, flexing the ankle and toes, and then reaching to grab the back of your right thigh. Begin to pull the leg towards you as you press the hip away, rolling your tailbone down so the entire spine stays in contact with the mat. Pulling the right leg towards you while you push the left leg away, reaching further if you like towards the right shin to deepen the stretch a little bit. Making sure you're flexing both ankle and toes here, especially the left one, protecting your knee from sideways pressure. Maintain this connection with the mat through the entire spine. Breathing into the stretch. And from here, we open the arms into a wide T, keeping your legs as they are. Allow them to lower down to the right side, choosing your point of focus, your drishti. Sending your breath deep into the stretch here. Think about your thigh bone where it inserts into the pelvis, that hip socket, and try and visualize your breath going right into the hip socket, loosening up the joint. Keeping the back of your shoulders pressing down on the mat. On the next breath in, begin to lift your legs back to center, uncross, and plant the feet down on the mat, hip width distance, arms rest beside you. We're back in bridge. Touching the heels with your fingers, even pressure through the feet. Let's lift the seat up. This time, rolling your shoulders underneath and interlacing the fingers together, tucking one pinky in so you can push down through your fists and really open into the chest, lifting through the hips. Try and relax the glutes. And this, as you press down through the back of the arms and shoulders, feel that opening across your chest. And exhale to release the arms and ease your spine and seat down onto the mat. Lifting the legs into your chest, wrap the arms around the shins. From here, resting your head and shoulders down on the mat, bringing the hands to the crease between the calf and thigh muscles. Begin to push the heels up to the ceiling. Let's bring the tailbone back in contact with the mat. As you flex the ankle and toes down, try to stretch through the back of your legs into the calf and the hamstring muscles. Pull the toes down towards the face while the heels push up. And using the hands here to pull the thighs towards the chest without letting your tailbone lift off. So this part of the mat, this part of the body stays in contact with the mat. Feet are hip width distance apart. From here, we're going to start to rotate both ankles, drawing circles on the ceiling. Rotating the ankle in both ways, keeping your jaw relaxed as you rotate. Just noticing which ankle perhaps feels like it's getting a full range of motion, which one feels a bit more limited. Rotating in both directions. And let's bring the ankles back to neutral and bend the knees from here. Hug them into your chest as you wrap the arms around the shins. Tuck into a tight ball here, bringing the nose between the knees. From here, bring the hands to the crease between calf and thigh muscles one more time. Start to rock back and forth as you massage the muscles alongside the spinal column, picking up some momentum here. Rocking back and forth. And from that momentum, we're going to come to find stillness in boat pose, so balancing on your sit bones as you point the toes, lift the chest. Lift the shins to be parallel to the ground. You can keep your hands where they are. You can reach them forward if you want to. You can also straighten out the legs, keeping your chest and your thighs squeezing together, balancing on the sit bones and keeping that nice flat back. Breathing here, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing your feet onto the mat, hip width distance. Take the hands behind the body, fingers facing forward. Push into the hands and the feet. Lift the seat up, lift the chest. Reverse tabletop as your head drops back here. Opening into the chest. Breathing here. And exhale to bring your seat down onto the mat. We're going to flip over onto our hands and knees into a regular tabletop. Spreading your fingers, flattening into the palms, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Let's have the toes tucked under. From here, we're going to push down into the hands, push into the feet, lift the knees off the mat a few inches, push into the hands to fill up into your back body. Pull the belly button right into the spine. Find that strength through the midsection, into your shoulders and the legs, all working together. Tucking your chin in towards the throat so that your head is in line with the rest of the spine. Breathing here. Actively look to pull the belly button right in towards the spine, bracing your core. Breathing, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale to bring your knees down onto the mat. Inhale, arch the low back, draw the belly down, moving into your cat and cow movement. And then exhale to tuck your tailbone down towards the floor, push into the hands, rounding into the spine, bring the chin to the chest, head reaches down to the mat. Moving at your own pace, inhale to your back bend, arching your back, pull the shoulders away from the ears, draw your chest forward as you look ahead or look up. And then exhale to tuck your tailbone down towards the mat. Chin tucking into the chest and filling up into your back body. You're welcome to close the eyes. You're welcome to add in any movements if that feels good. Taking your time here, finding your spinal flexion and extension. And waking up the muscles alongside the spine. Waking up the shoulders, the low back. Let's start to find our way back to neutral. From here, let's make our way down onto the forearms, elbows on the mat, hips over knees. Let's walk the elbows away from the body as you settle into puppy dog pose, letting your forehead rest on the mat, letting your chest melt through, tailbone reaching up. And gentle back bend here as you feel your arm bones pressing right into the shoulder sockets. Open through the armpits, let your chest melt down towards the mat. If you want to make this slightly more intense, you can bring your chin on the mat. Make sure that feels okay for your neck, or you can keep your forehead down as you like. Continue breathing. Spread the fingers, push down through your palms as you lift the forehead or chin off the mat. Drive your chest forward, step your feet to the back of the mat, finding your way into a plank. You can have your palms pressing down, or you can bring your palms together, interlace the fingers, tucking one pinky in. And as you lift up into your back body, pull the belly in, reach back through the heels, so your legs, midsection, shoulders, all working together in your plank, finding strength. Be mindful of your hips here. Sometimes they want to sag down to the ground. Sometimes they want to lift up to make this pose slightly easier. And you want to try and find that Goldilocks middle where you're level with your shoulders, hips. Listening to your breath here. If you'd like to make this slightly more challenging, you can lift your legs one at a time off the ground. Keeping your pelvis level, not letting it dip. You can also try stepping your feet out and back in, or holding plank as you are for another 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center if you're moving. Bring the hips down. Lift the feet, point the toes, separate the hands, coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath the shoulders, pushing down through the hips. As you look forward, maybe looking up, pressing the hips down and pull the shoulders away from the ears. Broaden through your chest, breathe into the belly. From here, we're gonna look past the right shoulder towards the back right corner of your mat. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, look to the left. Inhale, come back. Exhale to the right. Try to look a little further. Inhale back, exhale left. One more time for each side. Inhale center, exhale to the side. Inhale center, exhale to the left. And inhale, coming back. From here, we're gonna bring your hands onto the mat as you lower your chest and chin down. Walking the hands down the mat so the elbows are stacking over your wrists, fingers are spread, palms are flat, tucking the toes under. We'll keep the knees on the mat as you pull your belly button off the mat in towards your spine. Try to lift your chin, your chest, your belly, and top of the hips off at the same time. So pushing into the hands, squeezing your shoulder blades together, elbows pointing back, and let's push into the hands and lift. Send the seat back here, tucking the toes under. Lift the knees, lift the seat, coming into your downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal the feet here, reaching the heels down one at a time, maybe moving your hips from side to side. Noticing how your downward dog is feeling for you this morning. Maybe hanging out in a particular calf stretch for a little while longer if you like. And let's find stillness in the downward dog. Inhale, picking up your right leg for three-legged, nice and high. Bend the knee, and as you exhale, swing your leg forward, bringing the foot on the mat between the hands, ground the back knee, and bring the fingers together onto your right thigh. Relax into your shoulders, sinking low through your pelvis. Maybe you can point the back toes if that feels comfortable. As you find your way into the lunge, try to let your pelvis sink closer to the ground. And releasing the hands onto the mat from here. As you breathe in, send the hips back, stack them over the left knee, flexing your right ankle and toes, and getting that leg to stretch from the hamstring into the calf muscles, scissoring into the hips as you pull your right hip back, your left hip pushing forward, and trying to lead with your chest and chin towards the front edge of your mat. From here, we're going to walk the hands back into the lunge, bending into the front knee. From here, you're going to take that back foot, pivoting on that knee, and step the foot to the side of your mat, and then rise up. From here, you're going to bend into that front leg and feel the stretch into the inner left hip. So my foot is right behind my knee, bending into the right knee here, and letting my pelvis shift forward so I can feel the stretch through the inner left thigh. I'm going as deep into this as feels comfortable. You can let your hands rest on the right leg. And then press into that front leg. Ease your way out of the pose. Lift that back foot again. Pivot on the knee and shift that foot back. And we come back into the lunge. Hands on the mat. And taking that back knee off the mat. Step back into your high plank. Shoulders over wrists. Looking back, heels are over toes, straight arms, straight legs. Fill up into your back body, engage through the midsection, and we're gonna lean forward as you exhale. You can bring the knees down for chaturanga or keep them off the mat, your choice. As you exhale, bend the elbows, lead with your chest, push from the ankles and rise up with the inhale into your back bend. Open the chest, roll the shoulders back, finding your point of focus. Maybe the knees rest on the mat, maybe the lift off the mat, your choice always. Exhale to lift the seat, tucking your toes under, and pressing your hips back, moving your chest to your thighs. Downward facing dog. You're always welcome to find stillness or movement in your down dog, whatever feels good. If you feel like you want to continue pedaling the feet, do that. If you want to find stillness and let your body get used to this position, whichever way works. Setting up with a strong foundation, your fingers are spreading, palms are flat, shoulders moving up and away from the ears, armpits rolling in to face each other. Let your ears line up with your arms and let the top of your pelvis tilt down towards your toes so you can feel that extra bit of space in the low back. Finding stillness with the legs. On the breath in from here, lift that left leg up, three-legged. And on the exhale, bend the knee, swing your leg forward, letting your foot land. Ground the back knee, fingers together on the left thigh. Relaxing into your shoulders, relaxing into the pelvis, keeping the back toes tucked under or on the top of the foot. Using your breath here to help you ease your way into the stretch. Feeling your hip flexors getting a nice opening here. Exhale to release your fingers down onto the mat. As you breathe in, send the hips back, stack that right hip over your right knee, adjusting the stance as needed, flexing your left ankle and toes towards you, scissoring into the hips. Think about pulling your left hip back and pressing your right hip forward. And using your fingers here for support, but also help you elongate your spine forward. Exhale to bend your knee, walking the hands towards the front. From here, we pick up that back foot, pivoting on that knee, step the foot behind you, and then rising up and letting your pelvis shift forward and slightly down as you bend into the front leg and hanging out here to get that stretch through the inner thigh. Make sure this feels comfortable for you underneath the knee. If you need to double up on the mat to get some extra cushion, you can totally do that as well. Here comes the sun. And then pressing into that front foot, come back. Lifting that back foot, pivot on the knee, and we're back in the lunge, framing the foot with your hands, tucking the back toes under as the back knee lifts, step back. From your plank, you're welcome to transition to downward dog however you want to. You can go straight into your downward dog. From your plank, you can come into your back bend without going into chaturanga and then moving into downward dog. Or if you want to move through chaturanga, you can go with one breath, one movement if you can. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Let's see if we can come back to that transition. Inhale to your forward plank. Exhale, chaturanga. You can always have your knees down if you want to. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Feel the palms pushing into the mat. Feel your chest moving to your thighs. Imagine that line from the back of the head running down, or rather up the spine all the way to your tailbone. And see if you can stretch that line a little further. Breathing here. Pushing back and down through the heels so your legs feel active, keeping the knees just slightly bent so you're not locking out the knees at any point. On the next breath in, let's bend the knees further, looking ahead. And as you exhale, stepping or hopping your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale to release. And bend the knees around the spine. Feet are hip width distance, grabbing onto opposite elbows. Rocking side to side. Letting your head completely hang loose. Letting your spine decompress. Tipping the weight forward onto your toe mount so you can really feel the stretch through the back of the legs. Coming back to center. Releasing the elbows, coming up halfway as you inhale, flat back. And exhale, release. Pushing through the feet, come all the way up to standing. Straight arms and legs, looking through the hands as your palms touch. And exhale, and bringing the hands down through chest center, shaking out the legs here. Getting ready for a sun salutation from the top. Standing in your Tadasana, feet are hip width distance. If you prefer to have your toes together, you can totally do that. Finding your grounding underneath your feet. Feel the soles of your feet pressing into the mat. Feeling your toe mounts. Feeling the edges of your heels. Bringing awareness to your ankles, to your legs. Lift the kneecaps up the thighs, feeling your thigh muscles engaging. Feel that low belly pulling in, lifting your chest higher, relaxing the shoulders, arms resting beside you. Lifting your head up tall, chin slightly tucked in. Feeling that length running down the back of the head all the way to your spine. Feeling the strength in your legs, keeping your body upright. And the weight is balanced evenly between your feet and balanced between the four corners of each foot. Standing in Tadasana, maybe closing the eyes and just noticing how perhaps that changes the awareness of the pose. Noticing that perhaps keeping your balance becomes a little bit more challenging with the eyes closed, or perhaps it stays the same. Noticing your stabilizing muscles coming in to keep your body in this position. Try not to stand with your knees locked out which hyperextends the knees. You want to have your knees just slightly bent so that the muscles around the joint can be active. When we completely lock out the knees, then all the weight of our body goes down into the joint itself. But if you just keep just a slight bend, it's a very tiny bend that helps to keep the pressure off of the joint and keeps the muscles around the joint active and engaged, so you can keep them strong, which as we age is more and more important. On the next breath in, let's lift the arms up, reach through your fingers, look up between the hands, bring the palms together. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, keep that long spine, flat back all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms from here, stepping back or hopping into your plank, your choice. Once you're in your plank, flow through with your own variation. We'll meet in downward dog. Coming down with the exhale, lifting up your chest on the inhale, and then lifting your seat with the exhale for downward dog. Inhale from here, picking up your right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale to bend the knee and swing that leg forward, letting your foot land between the hands. From here, we sweep the arms up beside the ear for a high lunge. You can have your back knee on or off the mat, your choice. As you find your way into the high lunge, lift the chest, let your fingers reach back. Inhale, back to neutral. Left arm in front of you, right arm back, revolved warrior two. From here, we bend the elbows, bringing the palms together at chest center. Take an inhale, lengthen, and exhale, pressing your left arm against the right thigh. As you find your twist, you're looking at or past your right elbow. And I'm going to look down because the sun's right in my face here. As I continue lunging into that front leg, scissoring into the hips. If your back knee is off the mat, be mindful of the knee being slightly bent. You want to try and have that leg nice and straight. So the leg is active, breathing here, 3. Using that top hand to push down into the bottom hand so your thumb moves towards the center of the chest. 2, and 1. Releasing out of the pose as you exhale, bring the palms onto the mat. If your back knee is down, lift it up here, step back. Another variation you can use for your chaturanga is to have that back leg lifted as you move down through chaturanga, rising up and into downward dog. And I'll switch sides here so I can continue facing you. On the breath in, lift that left leg for three-legged. Bending your knee as you exhale, swing your leg forward, bringing the foot onto the mat, and reach the arms up. High lunge, stabilizing at each step. Bend into the front knee, back knee on or off the mat. Then lift the chest and reach the fingers back. Finding a bit of a back bend here. Actively push your pelvis forward, lengthen your tailbone down to the mat. Inhale, neutral spine, and then exhale, right arm in front, left arm back, twisting your torso. Stabilizing here. Finding your breath. Finding strength and engagement through both legs. Bend the elbows, bringing the palms together. Take an inhale, lengthen, exhale. Lean forward, reach your right arm across. Press it against the left thigh to find your twist. Top hand pushing down into the bottom hand. So if you can lunge a little deeper into that front leg. Scissoring into the hips. Thumbs moving towards the chest center. Pulling the lower belly away from the inner thigh. Feel the right arm, left leg pushing into each other, keeping that connection active and strong. Breathing 3, 2, and 1. Releasing with the exhale, hands on the mat. Stepping back from here into your plank. Maybe keeping that leg lifted for the transition. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lift the seat, downward dog. Let's take 5 breaths here, using the inhale to help you find a bit more length. And the exhale to help you settle into that space. Checking in with your finger and thumb pads, making sure they're pressing down. Palms are flat, you're not puffing up in the hands. Letting your chest move back towards your legs, pushing back and down through the heels. Lots of activation in your downward dog, so you're not hanging out passively. The next breath in, bend the knees, look forward. And exhale 2, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway, flat back, chin to your throat. Exhale to release. And as you breathe in, come all the way up, standing Tadasana, palms touch. And exhale, lower the hands down through chest center. From the top of the mat, we're going to stand with our big toes together, heels slightly apart, bring the palms together at chest center. From here, we're going to bend into knees as you send your weight back, keeping the knees tracking above the ankles as closely as possible, sitting into a chair. Keeping your core active, tailbone lengthening down, not arching into the low back, but keeping that tailbone neutral. From here, we're going to take that right foot up, step it to the back of your mat, and then ground the heel, turning your right toes to the side, left toes face forward. You want heel to heel or heel to mid-arch alignment. Bend into that front knee, deepen the stance if you need to, reaching the arms away from each other for your warrior two. Looking past the left hand here. Try to bring that front leg as close to 90 as you can and really push down through the outer edge of your back foot as you rotate both hips externally to feel that stretch through the inner thighs. From here, flipping your front palm, lean back, exalted warrior, keeping the legs as they are, looking up to the sky. Feel that stretch through the side body, continue lunging through that front leg. Inhale, come back. From here, we're gonna hinge forward from that left hip, reaching that hand forward, and then bring the elbow down on the inside of your thigh, reaching the right arm up and over. Use that connection with your left arm, left elbow to rotate the chest to the sky. Pull the shoulders away from the ears and turning your right hand so the pinky faces down. Feel that stretch from your right hand all the way down the back leg. If you want to add some strength, you can reach both arms here to really bring your oblique muscles into play. Continue rotating the chest towards the sky, breathing here. 3, 2, and 1. Come back, warrior two. Straighten out that front leg. Legs are shaking a little bit here. Take a moment, breathe, stack the shoulders over hips, and reach the arms opposite directions one more time. From here, we're gonna tuck that left hip in, setting up for Trikonasana. Reaching your left hand forward. Bringing the hand onto your shin, just lightly place the fingers against the shin while the right arm reaches up. Finding your drishti here, down at the mat to the side, or maybe up at your right thumb. You can also close the eyes. Something you can do for fun in a lot of poses, anytime during the class, is just close your eyes while you're in the pose and just notice how that perhaps changes the awareness, changes the experience of the pose. As you lean back into the head and shoulders, really pushing down through that back leg, maintaining space to the sides of your torso. From here, imagine your right hand is being pulled up towards the sky and pulling your torso along with the inhale. Bring the hands onto your hips, lifting the front toes, pivoting on that heel, bringing both toes facing to the side of your mat. From here, hands on the hips, take an inhale, lengthen through the torso, exhale, hinge from the hips, flat back. Prasarita Parottanasana, wide-legged forward fold, bringing your fingers down onto the mat underneath the face. From here, lean forward onto your toe mounts, keeping the hips, knees, ankles stacking in the straight line. Keeping that flat back as you stretch into the back of your thighs. If you want to move into an inversion from here, you can. You can also walk the hands towards your feet, intensifying the stretch as much as you need to. Coming out of your chosen variation, bringing the hands underneath the face. Inhale, come up halfway, flat back. Hands on the hips. On the next breath in, coming all the way up to standing. Lifting your front foot, front toes. Bringing that foot onto the mat, bend into the knee. Reach the arms, warrior two. And from here, we just cartwheel the arms down onto the mat. Lift the back heel, step back, and let's meet in downward dog. Bending your knees, looking ahead as you inhale, and with the exhale, making your way to the front of your mat. Come up halfway, breathe in, and reaching down as you breathe out, walking your feet together, big toes touch, heels apart. Inhale, lift the arms overhead and bring the palms together at your chest center. And then bend into the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Tucking your tailbone down, pulling the low belly in, send the weight back into the heels. Stabilize here, palms together at chest center. We take a step back from the left foot to the back of your mat. And ground the heel, turning your back toes to the side, front toes to the forward. Arms reaching in opposite direction. Warrior two, deep in the stance. You want to have that front leg almost at 90 or as close as you can. And let your inner hips feel a bit of a stretch here. You want to keep the arms active as well, as opposed to letting them hang out. Keep them nice and strong, reaching away from each other, taking up space on your mat, flipping the front palm, exhale, exalted warrior. Backhand can slide down the leg or come around the back. Shoulders pulling away from the ears. Side body stretch. Always keeping that base of your pose strong. You want to feel like a warrior. Inhale, come back. And exhale, lean forward with your right hand. Again, you want to keep the sides of your torso long. Right elbow comes down, left arm reaching up and over. And as you're lunging into the front leg, don't forget about your back foot. You want to keep it pushing down. Really great work. We're almost through the hard part here. Turning your left arm, pinky facing down, maybe reaching both arms if you want to. Coming back to your breath. Inhale, come back, straighten the front leg, setting up for Trikonasana, tucking that right hip in, reaching your right hand forward, and bring your hand down to the shin, left arm reaching up, finding your drishti. Stay strong through your legs, especially the back one, pressing down through the outer edge of your left foot. Try not to put too much weight on that bottom hand here. You want to keep it nice and light so the sides of your torso are doing the work. Imagine being pressed between two plates of glass. So you're getting as two-dimensional as you can in your body. Getting that stretch through the psoas muscle from your hip crest. On the next breath in, begin to rise up. Hands on the hips, lifting the front toes, pivoting on that heel. Both toes facing in the same direction. From here, we're going to come into a chest opener variation. For the forward fold stretch, bring the hands together behind you, interlace the fingers as you straighten the arms, take an inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Hinge from the hips, folding forward, bringing the hands up and over, closer to the ground in front of you. You can squeeze your palms together here if you want to strengthen the forearms, or let your hands come apart if you just want to work on the shoulder mobility, totally your choice. And breathing into the stretch, still letting your weight come forward onto your toe mounts. Keeping the weight balanced between your feet. Releasing from the chest opener, hands underneath the face. On the next breath in, come up halfway, inhale, hands on the hips. And then come all the way up, lifting your right toes, pivoting on that heel, bend into the front knee. Warrior two. And from here, cartwheel the arms down, back heel lifts, and we step back into downward dog. Bending your knees on the inhale, looking ahead. Exhale to make your way to the front of your mat. Come up halfway, breathe in, flat back. And breathe out to release back down. And as you inhale, come all the way up. Arms touch, look between the hands. And exhale, bringing the hands down through chest center. From here, we'll move to the center of your mat, setting up for Malasana. Your heels are shoulder width distance, toes are turned out 45 degrees, palms together, and then bending your knees, sinking down into Malasana. As you find your way into Malasana, press the arms against the inner thighs. Sinking low through the seat, drive your chest forward towards your thumbs, broaden into your collarbones. Feel free to close the eyes again if you want to, maybe doing some neck rotations here. Inhale, moving up and over to the side, exhale down and in the opposite direction, circles. Moving in both directions. And coming back to center. Opening the eyes if they're closed. From here, let's bring the hands behind the body. Bring your seat onto the mat. Walking the feet a little wider apart. Windshield wiper the hips from side to side. Coming into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. Reaching forward to grab your feet. Let's turn the soles of the feet to face up. As you bring your knees towards the mat, lift the chest up. Draw the shoulders down the back, maybe closing the eyes. Maybe staying upright or folding forward as you hinge from the hips. Breathing here as you feel that stretch happening from the pelvis, running down the inside of your thighs towards the knee. If you're folding forward, let's come back on the inhale to being upright. Open the eyes if they're closed and letting go of the hands, bringing your knees together. Take the hands behind you. Let's walk the feet mat width distance. Let's do it on the windshield wiper. All right, setting up on your mat with your feet out in front of you, sitting in Dandasana, flexing the ankle and toes back towards you, sitting up tall, lift the chest, arms resting beside the body. From here, we're gonna bend the right knee as you drag that foot towards the body, taking your peace fingers, grab hold of that big toe and pick the foot off the mat. From here, I'm gonna push away from the heel, pull back through the arm so the toes are flexing back towards me, open my chest to the side and reach the left arm back. So the whole time I'm trying to push my heel away, pull the toes back again. I'm keeping the knees slightly bent so I'm not locking out that joint, but I wanna feel the stretch in the back of the leg. That grounding leg stays strong, ankle and toes flexed. And I'm not leaning too far back here either. I wanna keep my shoulders pretty much over the hips. You can take a half bind with your left hand around the back if you want to. Feel that opening across the chest. Keeping a steady gaze and even breath. If you're in the half bind, release from that. And as you exhale, turn back to face forward. You're gonna take that left hand, grab hold of the foot, and then you're gonna pull the foot across the body towards the left side of the mat as you twist in the opposite direction and reach your right arm back. Again, you can take a half bind with your hand coming around the back if you want to. Continue using your left hand to pull the leg across so you feel the stretch all along the outer part of your right leg. Staying tall in the torso. Still trying to push that right heel away, pull the toes back. Releasing from the half bind. And inhale, turn back to forward, grabbing the back of your right thigh. Let's move that hip back and forth diagonally across your body. From here, bringing the shin onto the left side, letting your right arm rest on the hip. Left hand grabs hold of the foot and rotate the ankles. Moving the ankle in both ways. Earlier, we found a passive version of the ankle rotation. Now we're doing, or rather, we found an active one either, where we're using the ankle alone. And now this is a passive stretch where we're using the hand to passively rotate the ankle. So both are important. From here, letting go of the foot, and we're gonna plant that foot down on the outside of your knee. You can come into a stretch from here with your left leg straight or bent, your choice. We'll start with the left leg straight first. Take the right hand behind you. Inhale, reach the left arm up, and exhale, pull it across the body and press it against the thigh as you look past the right shoulder. If you wanna go a little bit further, You can bend that left knee and find the same stretch. Just make sure your sit bones are on the mat. Sitting up tall, shoulders over hips. Using your inhale to help you find length and height, and the exhale to help you twist deeper. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, rotate in the opposite direction for a counter twist. And inhale, come back. Let's flip over onto this side as you straighten out the legs, sitting in Dandasana. From here, bend the left heel, grab hold of the big toe with the peace fingers. Sitting up tall, as you push that left heel away, pull the toes back, open chest, right arm reaching back. Lots of crows. Taking that half bind option here if you want to. Push the heel away, pull the toes back. You want to be mindful of your shoulder here. Try not to let your shoulder go way out of its socket. You want to keep it nice and close to the body at all times. The shoulder is most vulnerable when it's pulled out away from the socket, so keep it nice and close so it stays compact, stays most secure that way. Let's go ahead and release out of the half bind as you turn back to face the front. Grab hold of the right foot or left with your right hand and pull the leg across the body. So you're going across towards the right side of the mat and then twist in the opposite direction and reaching back with your left hand. Half bind option again here if you want. Inhale, come out of the half bind, turn back to face forward, grabbing the back of your thigh with your left hand and moving the hip back and forth. Working on mobility as well as flexibility. And then from here, bring your shin to rest on the right thigh, ankle hanging off to the side, grab hold of the toes and rotate the ankle using the right hand. And the distinction between flexibility and mobility, I think, is important. Flexibility is when you have a lot of stretchability in your muscles, but doesn't really come with a lot of strength. But mobility is when you have the ability to have strength throughout a complete range of motion. So our range of motion for our joints can be pretty intense, or it can be limited, but what you want to try and do is build strength through the entire range of motion. The way to do that is to have a combination of flexibility and mobility. From here, let's go ahead and bring that foot down, plant it on the outside of your thigh, lean over if you want to bend the right leg. Totally your choice, or keep that right leg straight. Take the left hand behind you, right arm reaches up, and exhale, pull the arm across, twist, looking past the left shoulder. If you're going with a both knee bent variation, make sure you're not putting all the weight onto your right hip bone or right sit bone. You want to stay balanced with your weight. Use that backhand to help you find height for the torso with the inhale, and then use that right arm to help you twist with the exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to move into a counter twist. Inhale, come back, lean back, and straighten out the legs, shake them out. All right, that brings us towards the end of the class from here. So we're gonna scoot our weight forward, make sure you have space behind you to relax and come down onto the mat. Sitting in Dandasana, lift the arms up beside you. You can also let your hands rest beside you, doesn't matter. Just maintain control of your body as you bring it down. If you want to make it even more intense, you can lift the legs up here and then come into maybe a hollow body hold for a few seconds. If you really want to challenge your core muscles. And as you ease your body down onto the mat, the important thing here is to maintain control. So not let gravity take over. Once you're on your mat, let's lift the legs, bring them into the chest, wrap the arms around the shins, tucking into a tight ball, and then resting your head and shoulders down. From here, we move into happy baby as you take your knees wide, reaching from the inside of your legs to grab hold of your shins or your ankles or calf, feet, whatever you can. Doesn't matter. Try to get the soles of your feet to face up, rolling your tailbone down onto the mat. And then rocking from side to side if you like. Drawing circles to massage the lower back. Feel free to find any particular finishing pose or short sequence that you like as we start to transition from here towards Shavasana and getting comfortable on your mat as you draw the feet together and bring them down onto the mat. If you want to grab any accessories, any props to make your Shavasana more comfortable today, please go ahead. Taking the feet to the edges of your mat, letting your feet roll out to the sides. Arms can be resting beside the body, or you can let your palms rest on the chest and belly, whichever you prefer. And settling into a position that offers you stillness, one that you can relax into. And close the eyes when you feel ready. And Shavasana is all about integration, so that whatever you did in your practice can sink in. It can become a part of your muscle memory. So everything that you had to do for your practice is completed. Letting go of any control over your breath or your body. Allowing your heartbeat to slow down. Letting your muscles relax. Let the eyes and tongue drop back in the sockets. Letting your jaw unhinge. And letting yourself drift away into Shavasana. And start to bring awareness to your breath. Becoming aware of your body with each breath. Start to feel your finger and toes moving. And let the movement from the outside of your body make its way towards the center, through the ankles and toes, through the arms and legs. And bring in the movement that happens from within with each breath, together with the movement that happens through the outside. Maintaining awareness of how it feels to be inside your body. Sliding your feet together, pointing the toes. Reach the arms up overhead. And getting as long in the body as you can. Breathe in to stretch out a little further. And breathe out to relax into that space. And from here, bending your knees, placing one hand onto the belly, and turning over onto your preferred side. Maybe pausing here to reflect on your practice, your intention if you set one today. Keeping the eyes closed when you feel ready, coming up into a comfortable seat and bringing the palms together at chest center. Thank you for taking the time to be here today, for inviting me into your space, and for letting me guide you through the class. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that class. I'll see you next time.